Hey, you guys. So today we're going to be talking about muted group theory. There are a few ideas and connections that I want to go over today within the realm of muted group theory. The ideas that I'm going to cover today are basics, the background, what it is, help you guys have an understanding of muted group theory, the connection muted group theory has to gender binaries, as well as division of labor and societal ideas and norms, and of course, the aspect it has within communication. Muted group theory was founded by Cherish Cramery. Cramery was a professor of speech communication and sociology at the University of Illinois. She has also served as a dean for the International Women's University in Germany and is now a professor at the University of Oregon. She began her research career in 1974. All of this started because of women's portrayal within cartoons. Cramery discovered that women in cartoons were usually depicted as emotional, apologetic, or just plain wishy-washy. The words assigned to female characters were vague, flowery, and peppered up with adjectives like nice and pretty. All of it encompassed their looks. For the last 40 years, Cramery has been the leader in the effort to explain and alter the muted status of women in other marginalized groups. Through muted group theory, Cherish Cramery explains that language is literally a man-made construction. She states the language of a particular culture does not serve its speakers equally, for not all speakers contribute in an equal fashion to its formulation. Women are not as free or as able as men are to say what they wish, because the words and the norms for their use have been formulated by the dominant group, men. Just to dive into this a little bit more, muted group is defined as people belonging to low-power groups who must change their language when communicating publicly. Thus, their ideas are often overlooked. Time and time again, this is associated with women. Now, I'd like you guys to take a few minutes and just discuss amongst yourselves why you think women are a muted group. Some of the ideas that I have, which I will discuss in a minute, stand as socially constructed gender binaries, occupation of separate spheres, division of labor, male-dominated society, the threat of female expression or agency, and overall expectations of women. One of the biggest contributors to this are gender binaries. These are the separate categories that men and women are put into. Men are supposed to be physically strong, take charge, be a leader, not show any emotion, while women are supposed to be physically attractive, young, domestic, and pure. These binaries are produced and reproduced through interactions. They are directly related with gender inequality and power structures, where boys gain more skills for the workplace, while girls may gain more nurturing skills that lead to care work. Therefore, these roles are implemented and men are seen as the dominant group or supporters, while women need the supporting. Since women are socialized or expected to be the ones who need support, it directly relates to mutedness. Mutedness doesn't mean that they are completely silent. The issue is whether people can say what they want, when they want, or where they want to say it. Cramery believes that men's dominant position of power in society limits women's access to communication in public spaces. Cramery argues that ever-prevalent public-private distinction in language is a convenient way to exaggerate gender differences and pose separate sexual spheres of activity. With the logic of a two-sphered assumption, women's sphere is the home, while the men's sphere is the rest of the world. Women speak often in the home, a small world of interpersonal communication, but their words appear less often in the large world of significant public debate, a place where the words of men resonate. Cramery starts with the assumption that women perceive the world differently from men because of women and men's different experiences and activities rooted in the division of labor. This is all based off the socialization process, which sets gendered patterns on attainable standards for both men and women. However, this division of labor is not equal. Women tend to be solely responsible for the household, childcare, and feeding work. This is another pattern of gender behavior and reinforced gender inequalities. In a male-centered society, women and their contributions may become invisible. The unequal division of labor, along with gendered roles, forces women to take a second shift. which is unpaid work that is done after a day of paid work. This is usually within the home and it goes unnoticed because it is expected. Since men and women operate from different spheres, men control a dominant mode of expression, and that has produced a load of language and communication that has a vast stock of derogatory, gender-specific terms to refer to women talking. This includes calling women catty, bitchy, shrill, cackling, gossipy, chit-chatty, sharp-tongued, and so forth. However, there is no corresponding vocabulary to disparage men's conversation. By count, there are 22 gender-related words to label men who were sexually loose. For example, playboy, stud, player, womanizer. But there are more than 200 words that label sexually loose women. For example, slut, whore, hooker, hussy, easy lay. Even if the public mode of expression contained a rich vocabulary to describe feminine experience, women would still be muted if their modes of expression were ignored or ridiculed. This is because men stand as gatekeepers. Overall, Kramery sees traditional mainstream mass media as mainstream expression. Gatekeepers are editors of culture who determine which books, essays, poems, plays, films, scripts, etc. will appear in the mass media. Historically, women and other marginalized groups were not published compared to white males due to their dominance. This explains mutedness. Since male dominance of public communication is a current reality, Kramery concludes that in order to participate in society, women must transform their own models in terms of the received male system of expression. There are 3 different goals to deal with this. One goal is assimilation or blending in with the dominant group. A second option is separation or minimizing any contact with the dominant group. And lastly, accommodation, or trying to persuade the dominant culture to change the rules so they can incorporate the life experiences of muted groups. Muted group theory seeks to explain women's sense of confusion, frustration, and lack of power within society. It explains it through the idea of mutedness, in which women don't have a voice within society due to the male power upon them. Moreover, Kramery's insights and declaration of women as a group muted by men have helped shake up traditional patterns of communication between the sexes. For men and women who are willing to hear what she has to say, the consciousness raising fostered by muted group theory can prod them to quit using words in a way that preserves power. Well, that's all, folks. I left some questions for you guys to discuss this further. Thanks so much for watching. I really appreciated it.